Hello again, it's that bloke waffling away in his workshop once more. Sorry about this, folks. I'll go quiet after this one, but it's a little tip here I think is really worthwhile sharing. The other day I put a video on converting a small linisher for a friend, and in order to maximise the power of this, I've played around with the value of the capacitor, and the observant ones amongst you will see it's a different one. I only wanted to try one for starting and for running, and I started off with 30 microfarads, which I thought would be suitable for this motor. And then I tried a 10 and I found the range was somewhere in the middle, so this turned out to be 20 microfarads, and it works. It's sufficient to start the motor, and it's not too much to cause too much imbalance in the winding. Anyway, in order to achieve the maximum efficiency of this, I didn't have belts for this, so I had to make up a few. And this is the purpose of this little waffle today. Belts, sanding belts of various types, aren't particularly expensive until you compare it to the price you pay when you buy rolls of abrasive material like that. Sometimes you can get big rolls like this, and if you work it out foot for foot, this is certainly the best way of buying sanding belts, and I make my own. And the method I've used up to now is to cut the belt at roughly 45 degrees, and then with the grit facing upwards, laid it on an anvil, and with an old hammer hammered the last ½ inch or so in order to crush the grains of grit, and then on the other piece of feather edge sand the back, place the two together with thermosetting glue, and pop the whole thing in my vulcanizing press, and ½ hour later I've got a belt, and it works out a lot cheaper than buying them, and you've got it to hand. You haven't got to worry about ordering. But I have recently seen some belts that aren't scarfed and done like this. They're actually butt-welded with a tape at the back. And I've often wondered how good these can possibly be. So the last couple of days I've done some experiments, and started off with various tapes which flew apart immediately. But here you can see this slightly exaggerated. This is a 90-degree butt joint. Goes perfectly round the rollers, look. No problems at all. And unlike the lap joint, the belt can go on any way. You don't need the little arrows on the inside to tell you which way round it goes. So how have I achieved this? Well, it's dead easy. You can buy tape like this. It's got, there's a piece of it. It's 1.5 millimetres. No, it's not. Get this right. It's 0.015 millimetres thick. Well, you can see how thick it is. And you think it couldn't possibly take the strain. But it does. Inside is a cross weave, but this one's actually at right angles. Well, there's a weave of fiberglass, and it's incredibly sticky. It sticks like you know what to which. And I make them up like that. So I made a simple, where is it? Wooden jig. Get rid of that. Just a couple of pieces of wood and some wing nuts, and I lay my abrasive paper, cloth, with the grit down. I build them inside out and turn them the right way round afterwards. Overlap the length you want, and with a steel rule at roughly 90 degrees, put a craft knife through and cut through both layers, and then chuck away the odd bits and pieces. With this still clamped up, even if you're not exactly at 90 degrees, it'll be a perfect joint. And then stick over the joint with this tape, and where it overlaps, cut off with a craft knife or scissors, and you'll be amazed that how well they hang together and don't break up. and how cheap and easy they are to make. After you've made one or two of these, you will not go back to buying them from the manufacturers that produce that produce sanding belts. They've held us over a barrel for too long for these accessories. It's about time we fought back.